Well, hello to all you wisdom walkers out there, and welcome to Astrology for Self Mastery with me, Jojopah Maria and Saroma. Wow, what a pleasure it is to be here and to share some astrological insights and wisdom with you. I'm really excited for this one because it's the first time that I've kind of gotten like just a really cool message that I know I didn't make up. And and I shouldn't say this is the first time, but it's the first time that it's happened in this way and in the timing. Let me say that. It's not the first time. Um, and I'm really so excited to share with you that this astrology report that I'm going to share with you, this information, is designed to help you prepare for the final quarter of 2022. Yes, September through December. Yeah, we're making it through. Now, for those of you who are not wisdom walkers, I use information based on the Dagara medicine wheel from that tribe. And my teachers were Malidoma Some and Sobonfo Some. And it's in West Africa from Burkina Faso. And this beautiful wheel gives us great guidance to help us navigate through life and to better know who we really are. And so the number two is associated with fire. And 2022, yeah, a fire century. And then we're in a double fire year. And fire is about radical transformation, radical transformation. And so that has been going on. I don't know anybody on the planet who hasn't been experiencing some radical change. Yeah, like big, big, big time. And so it's really important that we appreciate all of what's going on, not from a place of being a victim, but from being a place of a growing, evolving, curious human being that wants to really better participate and live in the age of Aquarius. Um, I'm going to share this with you. On my website, I did a two-part series on what I call the change, resistance or renaissance. And it really is basically saying, um, let's look at how we can be in resistance to these changes that are going on. One of them is being a victim to the change versus being open and welcoming it as a renaissance, a personal renaissance, that we are victors in life and that everything that's happening, everything that's going on is really designed for our benefit. Yeah, yeah. And so I'm going to share this astrology with you, and I want you to keep that in mind. I want you to really listen for and to process these things that have occurred in the planets, this movement in the planet, this movement in the cosmos from August 15th through the 28th, through yesterday, is designed to help me better navigate through this last quarter of 2022. Yeah. Because, if you know anything basically about sports, right, or like football, that final quarter, oh, that final quarter, that's it, right? That's like make or break, right? Exactly. And so, and what are we making? We're making ourselves into more of who it is we really are, who we really need to be, to let go of these old belief systems, these old processes and ways where we have believed that we're disposable and that, life doesn't really matter. There is no real God and that we can do whatever we want to do. Yeah. All that crazy. And we've had some really, really hard things that have shown up, like the mass shooting in Uvalde of teachers and school children, little babies. Yeah, and I can go on and on and on, but I'm not going to do that. And let's stay focused on us personally, because I truly, truly believe that if we take on embracing the change and really doing what it is that creator, the universe, even our common sense is telling us to do in order to what? In order to become a better version of ourselves. That's how everything else externally is going to change. Yeah. Yes. So we need to hold that in mind. Now, before I start, I just want to give you kind of an overview of what is going on. That's why there's evidence that we're really going through this really huge change. I mean, August was more intense than I thought it was going to be. I thought July was it. Like, okay, because that was the US Pluto return and all these other aspects. But there are like 15 aspects I'm going to share with you over these last 2 weeks and into this week. 4 of them were trines, which is a flow energy, and they came at the beginning of the last half, so from the 15th into, like, the 20th. But then I'm sorry, into the 22nd. But then we got into 3 squares and 2 oppositions. So we had these 5 days of an really, really tight stuck energy. Yeah, yeah, I had some things go on. We also had Mars and Mercury, 2 of our personal planets, shifting into their sign. And we also have an asteroid that is shifting, an asteroid that's retrograde right now on that shifting, and it's important when I'll talk about it. The other thing I want you to understand is that right now we have not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 of our planets in retrograde. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, like all the outer planets are in retrograde. That's pretty huge. And retrograde energy, oh, yeah, and we have a Mercury retrograde coming up on the 9th to the 10th of September. They'll last until October the 2nd, right? So, yeah, September is definitely, if you hadn't been still and gone in August, now's the time to do it, right? Um, and we also have Mars going retrograde, but retrograde periods are that kind of a time. It's like the planet has stopped its forward movement, it's paused, and the energetic that it is creating based on the other planets it's aligned with and dancing with, tells us that we need to pause in this area of our lives. And so, because it's the big outer planets, those aren't our personal planets, those are the planets that really impact the world we live in and things that are going on in the external. So, all of them are paused. Yeah, that's pretty deep. That's pretty deep. And it is also about us to really understand and consider, the changes that are happening externally, to take a pause and really think about, okay, what does this mean to me personally? Like COVID, you've got to ask yourself, what does COVID mean to me personally? What is it about for me personally? I have not contracted COVID. And part of that is because of an agreement I made with COVID. Yeah, because I understand what COVID is about cosmically. But it's also about the fact that I decided I want to live and I want to be happy and joyous and fulfilled. And so I'm not going to take risk that would bring COVID into my home. Yeah. And I've had a couple of visitors, but I set rules and boundaries so that I don't expose myself unintentionally or unnecessarily to a microorganism that could take me out. Yeah. So again, these things that are happening, instead of wasting our time about, why is the flooding going on? Why is there so much heat? Why are there tornadoes? Why? Ask about, what is this about for you? Yeah, personally. And I promise you, it'll be much easier to then stop being in resistance and open up to learning, okay, what is it I'm really being called to? So again, we're going to take this journey through these 15 aspects that I'm going to give to you from a place of, oh, I'm being prepared for the fourth quarter of what is coming up. Yeah, that's how we want to view this. So let me start off with giving you this wonderful 2 quotes from 2 of the astrologers that I use. First one, Astro Butterfly, who says, August starts with a bang, being the once in a lifetime Much anticipated Mars North Node Uranus conjunction in Taurus. Yes, it's finally happening. And Mars, North Node, and Uranus are unpredictable, volatile, and change oriented. The change, folks. Breakthroughs and paradigm shifts are likely. There's a sense of urgency in the air. Something is about to happen. Follow your intuition. Yes. And then Narayana Montefar, the other wonderful astrologer I like, she says, the sudden changes that happen now at the beginning of August can be turned into huge opportunities if only we dare to make the big, bold, and radical changes and moves. Yeah, I'll tell you about mine when we finish going through these. So, next, there's about the change. I already talked to you. So, we start with Monday the 15th. And on this day, we have Mercury in Virgo trining the North Node in Taurus. What does that mean? Since the lunar node is in harmony with mental Mercury, and remember, trine is flow energy, thoughts of the future may come to fruition. Praying over what you want to accomplish or how you want to strategize for success can alleviate the pressures of the future. Conversations and mental perceptions can change the course of destiny. Remain optimistic. Yes. Preparation number one for the final quarter. Remain optimistic. So that was on the 15th. Then we move until the next day, Tuesday, the 16th. And here's what we got. We got Mercury in Virgo trining Uranus in Taurus. And that's about mental Mercury is pulling all the strings together, giving revolutionary Uranus enough to pave the way. With these two elemental harmony, with these two in elemental harmony, sorry for that, it will feel like a communications and mental earthquake. Deliberate yet progressive ideas will thoughtfully come to fruition. Unseen twists and turns are bound to happen, but it will be nothing you have not already accounted for. Yeah. Yeah. Again, these are very, very, just really, very hopeful, very positive kinds of energy. And again, the message there is keep your faith, keep up your hope. Don't get pulled out of line by things that, can be messy that you've accounted for. You knew like this could happen or not happen. So trust that process. Now we jump to Thursday, August the 18th. And on that day, we had Venus in Leo trining, more flow, Jupiter, which is currently retrograde in Aries. And here's the message in that. Luck is on your side when the two benefits link up. Fierce explosions of desire, zeal, and affections are bound to implode. Courage to commit comes easily, even if luck seems to turn on a dime. Be brave as you go after your heart's desire. Yes, yes, yes. And what a wonderful intention for the final quarter of 2022 that I'm going after my heart's desire. So whatever shows up will be supportive of that goal that I have, of what it is that I'm going through. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, last Saturday on the 20th, we had this, which is pretty important. It's Mars entering into Gemini. And it's going to be in the sign of Gemini for much longer than normal. It's almost a repeat of what happened with Venus at the end of last year, going into January. And this time it's Mars staying in one sign for an inordinately longer period of time than usual. It won't come out of Gemini until January 12th, and it will go retrograde. So, as it says here, Mars, a planet of drive and assertion, enters Gemini, where it will stay for the rest of the year. This planetary ingress is a big deal. Mars rules the way we show our masculine energy and the way we go after our desires. Our words, written or spoken, gain incredible power during this time. This is really, really key. What this means is you have to really watch what is coming out of your mouth, whether you're saying it to yourself or to another person. And if the intent behind it isn't about love, you need to shift that up because it needs to be about love. Because this is saying that whatever you put out, it's going to come back to you. Yes, this is really, really huge. It goes on to say all things, media, transportation, and communication gain momentum and will go through an epic transformation during the time Mars goes retrograde between October 30th and January 12th of 2023. There will be more flexibility in your quest for knowledge, in our quest for knowledge. So, really interesting. The god of war up with the Gemini twins, up with the trickster. So, again, the idea here is, though, be careful, and especially when it gets retrograde. And I'll have some more information for you about that, what that means when Mars goes retrograde in Gemini. But for right now, just know that this energy is moved into Gemini, which rules over our communication, transportation, media. Watch your words. Be very careful. Like me doing this today, like I was really, really very mindful what my intent is, what it is that I want to do. I'm not going to sleep on when I'm speaking. Yeah. So pay attention to that. Now, on Sunday, the 21st, we have not one, but two aspects that show up. And the first one is our first opposition. This is Mercury in Virgo opposite Neptune, which is still retrograde in Pisces. As it says here, the stuck energy of this aspect will still create a dampening effect upon our minds and vitality. So it's best to lie low rather than making any agreements we plan to stick with. Now, in preparation for the final quarter, this is the kind of thing we want to pay attention to. When there is stuck energy, don't force yourself into a situation or try to make something happen. Leave it alone. Lay low, be patient, and wait. Yeah. Very important message for the last quarter. Absolutely. Then also on the 21st, we have the asteroid Vesta going retrograde in Aquarius. And as it says here, Vesta is the highest and largest asteroid in the sky. It's named for the Vestal Virgins in ancient Rome, who were the keepers of the sacred flame. If a Vestal chosen at age 6 allowed the flame to go out, she was beaten. Vestals took a vow of chastity for 30 years, at the end of which they were set free and then answered to no man. That was their reward. So, this gave them a unique status in Roman times, and this is why the term virgin was often used to describe a woman who belonged to herself, not a victim, as it sometimes is used here in the dark ages of modernity. Being a virgin meant you belong to yourself. No one had any authority over you but you. Yeah, very powerful. So that's some of the energetic of this asteroid. And with it being in Aquarius, it represents our fire within that empowers us to achieve our sacred contracts with home and family. Yes. And again, from a posture of self mastery and personal sovereignty. I love that. So it says here, when retrograde Vesta re-enters Aquarius, because it was did a little stint in Pisces for a minute, it says it brings the inequality of the world to our collective attention as we struggle between personal freedom and what's best for the group. Yeah. So again, sorting that out, especially around things like COVID. Am I only thinking about myself or am I thinking about what's best for the group? Yeah. Yeah. Very, very important. Oh, let me show Miss Cheryl. Hey, sister. Saying hello and thanks for this information. Oh my God, you're so, so very welcome. Thank you for listening in. Beautiful. Absolutely. So again, the message for the last quarter, right? Our Vesta energy, we definitely want to have that. We want to have our personal freedom. We want to have our personal sovereignty, but not at the expense of somebody else's. Okay? Remember that. Remember that your freedom should not be based on somebody else not being free. I'm just going to leave you with that to think about. Yeah, for the last quarter. So now on Monday, last Monday, the 22nd, and notice the 2-2, right? Again, we're in a double fire year. So anytime that 2-2 shows up in the month, yeah, there's something radical going on, something radical. And it's a master builder number. But what did somebody say to me? You have to, yeah, but the master builder number, you can't get to that until you let go of something, right? Yeah. Pretty powerful. So we have again not one but two planetary aspects that happened on last Monday. The first one again was a trine. So we had a flow energy of Mercury in Virgo trining Pluto being retrograde in Capricorn. And that means that our minds will be agile, sharp, and penetrating. This is an excellent day to do business, make agreements, or bargain. An ideal day for brainstorming, as the mind will be full of fresh ideas and unique solutions. The power of Pluto makes all of our communications persuasive and captivating. Use the energy to your greatest benefit. So again, it links back, right, to the other trines about, having opportunity for us to be able to get to fulfillment, to have that heart's desire come true. And this one is, of course, because it's Mercury focusing around communication. So again, another good flow energy. And then we also had on the 22nd our movement into Virgo season. So happy birthday to all the Virgo people out there. And this is the time to harvest. This is the time to gather up that harvest. Um, Let me share with you two from Astro Butterfly and Narayana Montafar, kind of what they say. So, Astro Butterfly says that Virgo's role is to ensure that our affairs are set in order. The harvest has been safely gathered, and we're prepared for the next chapter of our lives. The Virgo season is the best time of year to fix what's not working, get organized, and do self development work. Yes, yes, very, very important. Um, Narayana says that a huge energetic shift occurs as on August 22nd as the sun leaves Leo and enters into Virgo. She says at this time, Venus and Leo will be mimicking the same clash as the sun did earlier this month. However, no solar energy activating the Saturn Uranus square and the lunar nodes of destiny. We will welcome a more relaxed vibration. Yeah, it was very nice. She says also, Virgo season is always a time of year in which we search to create balance between mind, body, and spirit. And we can take our time and look for changes that need to take place in our daily routine so that our lives can work out as best as possible. So again, harvest time, getting things in order. Again, working on what do I need to shift so that I can be the best version of myself. Really, really important stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So now we go into the 24th. We only have one aspect on the 24th, and this one is Uranus going retrograde in the sign of Taurus. Now, as it says here, Uranus is a planet of awareness. It's the magnifying glass that helps us to see what we couldn't otherwise see. When Uranus is direct, this awareness comes from the world outside through messages, events, or other people. When Uranus is retrograde, the awareness comes from the inside. Yes, again, that introspection, that contemplation. Now, Uranus is still flared up by its encounter with destiny. Remember, it was up in that North Node. You can check out my video, my astrology video for the beginning of August. But it's time to revisit the Uranus North Node conjunction themes, helping us make sense of what happened at the beginning of August. Yes. During this 5 month retrograde, we're given plenty of opportunities to face our fears and get rid of what's not working. Yes. In the next few months, some light bulbs will switch on. So it started on the 24th. It's going to be retrograde in Taurus until January 22nd. And that whole North Node piece, I'm not going to go into that. You can look at the video or do your research. But, you know, Uranus going retrograde in Taurus, it is a big thing because Taurus does represent, our home, our understanding of ourself, our comforts, our our family, our friends, our community, all of that. So again, we're going through a time, especially these last 4 months, where we're being asked to identify, to become conscious of what in those areas, what in our home, in our environment needs to change. What are we afraid of? And what do we need to get rid of? And open up to having that. It will be so important before we move into 2023, which is all about the change being lived. Yeah. Yeah. So, really, really powerful energy here. Next, on Thursday, the 25th, we have two aspects. The first one is a nice trine with Venus in Leo trining the North Node in Taurus, again, that node of destiny. And it says here, patience is required during this frustrating aspect that brings sudden and unexpected changes and delays. Yeah, yeah. And I do remember on that day there was some stuff that was going on, but I was chill. I was just like, hey, it's meant to be. Cause if it's up in the North Node of destiny, that's like that's sacred contract stuff. That's nothing you're supposed to be trying to shift up or move around or be upset about. You're supposed to be like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Got it. You don't go into reaction. Yeah. So think about that. Again, the message for going into these last 4 months, accept what is supposed to be happening. Don't take on I gotta fix it or I gotta make it be different when it's concerning somebody else or something outside of your control. Right. Leave it alone. It's happening for a reason, and whatever needs to shift out will shift out. Yeah. You just stay focused on you. Absolutely. The next aspect is that Mercury, another one of our personal signs, moved into the sign of Libra, where it will be until the end of October. And this transit, it will include Mercury's retrograde on the 23rd of September. And in the air sign of Libra, Mercury becomes inclusive, diplomatic, and people oriented. The cosmic goal of this transit is to find common ground. This is a great transit for negotiations, reaching agreements, and finding win win outcomes. Yeah. So, again, going into this fourth quarter, like think about how you want to end this year of radical change. This is a beautiful end note to know that you were able to come into community, into agreement, into alignment with other people and with certain circumstances that win-win outcomes showed up. Yeah, yeah. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful aspect. So now we jump to the 27th, this Saturday, because we have three aspects, including the new moon. but it was intense, folks. That's why I couldn't get these messages out to you. I was trying to get it out either on Friday or Saturday because new moon happened Saturday. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. The spirit was like, wait, Monday will be fine. So here they are. Let me give you the two before the new moon, because the first one is a square, and it's Venus in Leo squaring Uranus in Taurus. And the message was patience is required during this frustrating aspect that brings sudden and unexpected changes and delays. Totally, totally, totally is what happened. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So again, our job is just to handle being still, being calm, not getting angry. Look, you got a bull and a lion. Okay? You got a bull and a lion in a square. Do you want to be in the middle of that? I don't think so. No. This is why okay, let me leave it alone. Let me leave it alone. Exactly. So that square showed up. And then guess what? A second square on the same day. This was Sun in Virgo squaring Mars in Gemini, which we just talked about. Again, a restless day that could bring conflict, miscommunication, and nervous energy. So again, another good chill day, which is what I did on Saturday. I stayed still. I wanted to go someplace. I wanted to do a little running around, but I was like, oh no, 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 you need to stay still. Yeah, take yourself home, be still. And then this moon showed up. This new moon, which is about what? It's about planting a seed, setting an intention. But as Astro Butterfly says, and I quote her, yes, the new moon in Virgo will push our buttons. Yes, the new moon in Virgo will stir some uncomfortable conversations, but we can work it all out. Yeah, yeah. We can get through it. And we did. We made it. We made it through. We're here today. And then, da-da, last but not least, yesterday, our final aspect for the month was Venus in opposition to Saturn. Venus in Leo, Saturn in Aquarius. And as it says here, a frustrating aspect, but it brings opportunities to revise the responsibilities associated with commitments and love, money, and style are possible. Adopt the flair for optimistic determination to avoid feeling downcast, unrecognized, and unappreciated. Yeah, yeah. I think this one is probably real treasure, a real treasure message, a real medicine message going into the last 4 months uh, of um, of 2022, because it's saying, you're gonna maybe feel that tight energy, right? That pull, that opposition, especially in the areas of love, money, and lifestyle. But be optimistic. Be optimistic. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Yeah. Really, really important. Really important. You know, something we need to think about. I'm gonna do a little ad for you of my book. Something we need to think about is that COVID ain't over. COVID has not gone anywhere. It is still around. It is still a problem. Okay. And normally we have in the fall flu season, right? Because a lot of it, especially in the northern hemisphere and our, and for the fall, it is the change in the season, so the plants are shifting, animals are shifting, we as humans are shifting. You have all of that going on. And so it really becomes this time for microorganisms to get busy because they like, oh, it's going to be cold. I need to make sure I can survive. I need something to eat off of. And so, you know, over the summer, it has been very nice to feel that you can move around a little more, take a little more chance, get on a plane maybe. The K95 and N95 masks seem to be working well. People have gotten vaccinated. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good. I caution you to understand and accept in these dark ages of modernity that this plague, this COVID, is not over. It's a microorganism and it wants to live. It's very clear about that. It doesn't have to be convinced. So there will be more increase, more of people having an opportunity to pass the disease among themselves because people are going to be indoors more. Okay, there's going to be more indoors activity. Wear your mask, and if you can't do a mask, then avoid crowds and avoid being around people who you don't know what they've been doing, and how they've been, going around and treating themselves. Take care of yourself. These next 4 months coming up are going to be very decisive in how it is that we believe we're supposed to be here. Yeah, yeah. So I hope that this information I've shared with you will be of service. I took my time with it. It's a little over 30 minutes because I want you to have the information and you can go back to it. Okay. I will put timestamps in, give me a day, but I'll put some timestamps in for you. And you can just go back and check out and say, let me remember what that aspect was about and how am I doing in regards to that? Because it really is a roadmap for how we can best navigate through the last 4 months of 2022, this year of radical change. So, be well, be safe, be cautious, take care of yourselves on every level. And we get a little down low with astrological aspects for the beginning of September. So I probably will come back to you when it's time for the retrograde, which is very close to the full moon. And the full moon is going to be in my sign of Pisces. So it should be very interesting. Again, take care of yourselves. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I'll be back to talk with you soon. Bye bye now.